Back, everybody, to the Navigant Credit Union Broadcast Center with our sponsor friends over at Deepwater Wind. I want to welcome in Professor Malley from Brown University. Listen, everybody in economic development of Rhode Island is always talking about how do we harness the power and intellectual thought up at the colleges with the leading companies, thinking about solutions for people. You're at the cutting edge of it right now on a project with Hasbro.
Yeah, this is an exciting project that we've been developing for a few years now. We finally got now funding from the National Science Foundation to actually get it started in earnest. And it really grew out of some conversations we had informally with some people at Hasbro right here in town, having mutual interests in making a difference in dealing with the problem of aging populations and people's desire to stay at home, but often really face challenges being on their own, maybe having some memory problems, and we're trying to do a small step in supporting people in these challenges.
And the ARES program, that's the acronym for it. And what's really interesting about it is really creating these animated Furbies.
Well, we call them companion pets because the idea is really that they are not like general robots that roam around and do the laundry for you and cook the meals and entertain you, but they are both giving comfort because they have an actual physical presence. They help you with some simple tasks, and they also connect you through some relatively simple networking with either a phone or a Wi-Fi system to other people. So the ARES acronym stands for Affordable Robotic Intelligence for Elderly Support. And the idea of affordable means you want to be simple, you want to have tasks that the system can reliably perform, because otherwise people will use it for 2 weeks and then throw it into the corner and it won't make any difference whatsoever.
And some of the competing types of technology are very expensive, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000.
Yes.
And this is looking at a price point in the $100.
Well, right now the
$200.
existing companion pet that Hasbro has on the market, called Joy for All, costs about $100 and is a movable, what they call animatronic companion pet. And what we'd like to do is give it some enhanced features, capabilities that help with some of these memory problems, misplaced objects, forgetting that you have some appointment, forgetting maybe that you should call your daughter, and helping that with maybe a few $100 price point, such that either people can afford it themselves, or maybe an insurance company would see that as a very useful investment, or maybe the government might see that as a useful investment. So it needs to be really at a simple enough level that we can say we can reliably have these functions be performed and people can still afford it.
This is a 3-year grant from National Science.
Yes.
And what's the deliverable? What does the National Science Foundation expect from 3 years from now? What are we going to see, and what's the expectation?
So this is what they call a translational grant. So rather than only making new steps, advances at the intellectual level, at the technical level, at the maybe human behavioral level, we also actually have the goal to produce something. A companion pet that may look similar, that might have a similar shell, could be a cat, could be a dog, could be something else, but on the inside has intelligent capabilities, artificial intelligence, if you will, that makes a difference in ways that the current companion pet doesn't yet do, because it's not intended to do that.
Right.
And these capabilities require technical know-how combined with the amazing capacity that Hasbro has to build things on a very small scale and at a very affordable level. And then the deliverable will be a product that will probably be the second or third generation that we'll develop in these 3 years, and will be user tested first with non-vulnerable populations, younger people, and then eventually the final evaluation study in year 3 is actually to see whether older people who live at home, who want some support, are willing to take on this companion pet, really consider it to be useful. And
Hasbro's not going to try and slide in that they start looking like G.I. Joes or My Little Ponies.
I sure hope
that.
that's not the case. This is not part of our agreement.
Excellent. You've got some big brain power behind this at both entities. Littman's involved in this. If you don't know how famous Littman is, he's in a TurboTax commercial.
That's right.
For being one of the biggest brains in the world, right?
Yeah. Now, Michael Littman is fantastic. I co-direct with him the Humanity-Centered Robotics Initiative at Brown that really takes on this challenge to make technology available to meet societal needs. And artificial intelligence and robotics sometimes have a reputation of being sort of the enemy of humanity, and we really see that as a mistaken direction. But rather, we can do something. The combination of computer science that Michael Littman brings and cognitive and behavioral science that I bring, and the many people working with us together, and then with Hasbro having that capacity to translate these ideas into actual products, that's a pretty exciting team.
And it must be exciting because they've got design teams and they've got the ability to manufacture that you might not have. You might be able to come up with the thought process and how it would be implemented, but their ability to sort of de facto take it to market, at least in a testing standpoint, fairly instantaneously, and they've already got an entity to be able to leverage from the get-go.
Right, they have the designers, but they have the engineers who can really build with very simple mechanisms something that we can only dream of. Right. Now, we will have relatively cheap computer chips, and we build some learning mechanisms that Professor Littman is really a world expert in, and we know how to both examine what needs people might have that our technology can meet, and then also have the empirical science to really back this up and say, it's not just that we had an idea and we hope it's going to work, but we've actually tested it and it actually works, and you can even push it a little bit and it will actually perform reliably what it intends to perform.
And in your career, I mean, you've done a lot of interesting things on both coasts and actually all across the world. Where is this on your sort of list of accomplishments and where you think this can go? This is somewhat limitless, right? The application can just extend and extend, not only for seniors needing companions, but across the board to a whole host of other applications.
Yeah, this is actually a colleague right now in the computer science department a few days ago said, wow, this is amazing. This is not just for senior citizens. This can be for kids. This can be for adolescents. This can be for many people. And I said, yes, absolutely. That's the idea, to make that technology available and think of new ways to make a difference where their needs exist.
You can see it in autism. You could see it all the way over to John Donahue's work, sort of almost in BrainGate, as to implications into folks who are dealing with complete physical limitations.
Yes, absolutely. And the idea is really to combine the psychological comfort that an actual, if you will, agent can provide, that feels good, but really also is intelligent enough to do something for you and with you. And this is one of the key elements too. This companion pet doesn't move on its own. So you need actually the adult to carry it, for example, to the object, the misplaced glasses, that the cat knows where it is, but you need the adult to be part of that.
Kate, did you hear that? The misplaced glasses?
And that's important, right? Because what happens when you're older, when you have some limitations and challenges, you don't want to be the one who's being served and sort of supported in a way that you wait.
Right, you don't want to give up your independence.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
You want to contribute, and that's the nice thing. This robotic pet does not have many capabilities, so it needs the human to help it.
Right.
And the human gets some help from the robotic companion.
Well, this is remarkable. We want to stay up to date on this. Can you give us regular updates on the good, the bad, the failures?
Well, we'll do an annual report.
Yeah, well, we want you more than annually. This is wildly interesting. Thank you so much for coming in. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in to Business Monday, a wildly interesting hour with the Speaker of the House, the money man, Gary Sass, up at Bryant University, and Professor Malley at Brown University on really cutting-edge commercialization of leading-edge technology. Thanks, everybody. Tomorrow, Ava Gaudet will be back at 3 o'clock with Arts and Entertainment, and then Kate Nagel with News and Politics at the 4 o'clock hour. Thanks, everyone. Cower. Thanks, everyone. Cower. Thanks, everyone. Cower. Thanks, everyone.